Good evening and welcome to New Cumnock Parish Church and the Songs of Praise, where we gather in fellowship with each other to remember God's presence in our midst. And as we do so, we sing praise with thanksgiving, lifting our hearts as well as our voices to God in joyful praise. The church is a very different place from what it has been historically. And how we do church and be there for all people on occasions takes radical thinking and radical action. Over 3 years ago, the Presbytery of Ayr was brave, innovative, and conscious of the need of pastoral care for all sections of our presbytery. The Presbytery of Ayr, being approximately 50-50 rural-urban, was very aware of the plight of the farming community and wanted that section of our presbytery to know that we care and we are here for them. To this end, the presbytery appointed a minister to the farming community, the Reverend Chris Blackshaw, who I'm pleased to say is here with us tonight. And it is entirely appropriate that this evening's Songs of Praise should have a farming and pastoral theme. Earlier this past week, when Helen realised that for some domestic reasons she could not be here, she rang me, stating that she was looking for a suave young man with poise and presence, a quiet sense of humour, and filled with patience to lead the Songs of Praise on Sunday evening. In her very next breath, she said, "Since I can't find him, will you do it?" And so tonight, you have me. And I thank Christine for her assistance in making my life so much easier by giving me help and direction. And it's good to see the Sanka Silver Band here tonight, as travel from the south was rather thwarted by the threat of road closure. You'll be pleased to know that you'll have a much more pleasant evening here tonight, because I come from where you come from and not Kilmarnock. I've also noticed that tonight you've come much closer to a kindly minister. Usually you're as far away from her as you can get. The first hymn that we sing is Crown Him with Many Crowns, and this is a hymn written in 1851 by Matthew Bridges and Godfrey Thring. The hymn is sung to the tune Diamata by Sir George Job Elvey. The full song features 12 verses, which we will not sing, with two very different theological perspectives. The original 6 stanzas were written by Bridges, who was a Catholic, and based on Revelation 19:12, where it says, "And on his head were many crowns." Then Thring wrote 6 verses because he didn't necessarily agree with the message of the popular hymn. The Anglican clergyman was concerned that Protestant congregations were singing Catholic theology. Thankfully today, the different verses are mixed and matched, with 3 of the 6 verses being written by Bridges and 6 by Thring. We sing 3 of the better known verses, Crown Him with Many Crowns. The first prayer will be led by Jane Young.
This is the Farmer's Prayer by Amelia Barr. Let us pray. The King may rule o'er land and sea, the Lord may live right royally. The soldier ride in pomp and pride, the sailor roam o'er ocean wide. But this or that, whate'er befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The writer thinks, the poet sings, the craftsman fashion wondrous things. The doctor heals, the lawyer pleads, the miner follows the precious leads. But this or that, whate'er befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The merchant he may buy and sell, the teacher do his duty well. But men may toil through busy days, or men may stroll through pleasant ways. From king to beggar, whate'er befall, the farmer, he must feed them all. The farmer's trade is one of worth. He's partner with the sky and earth. He's partnered with the sun and rain, and no man loses for his gain. And men may rise or men may fall, but the farmer, he must feed them all. God bless the man who sows the wheat, who finds us milk and fruit and meat. May his purse be heavy, his heart be light, his cattle and corn and all go right. God bless the seeds his hands let fall, for the farmer, he must feed us all. Amen.
When I read the great pastoral psalm, the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord's my shepherd," I think of the shepherd herding the sheep, but also the great shepherd herding his flock, you and me. The shepherd is up front, leading the way, and his two dogs, Goodness and Mercy, are behind us, protecting and guiding, but keeping us safe until we reach our destinations. Let us listen to that great pastoral psalm as it is read to us by Morag Ferns, the session clerk.
Psalm 23, a psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
I'm pleased to welcome Chris Blackshaw here this evening, and I invite him to come and introduce to us one of his favourite hymns.
One of my favourite hymns is one of the harvest hymns, We Plough the Fields and Scatter. And that speaks quite a lot about the work that is done on the farms for the harvest. It speaks about the hard work. It also speaks about how God is the grower. And as I go about spreading the seeds wide and far for the church, and meeting farmers where they are, it's encouraging to see the growth that comes. I go along to some farmers. There's one particular farmer that I go to, never been to a church probably for 40 years. And yet, after meeting him about 3 times, he said, "I want you to bury me." And so he's not very well. He's not very well at all. But he wants me to do his funeral. And it's all planned. And I can tell you, I never come away from that farm without a word of prayer. And he's not the only farmer that enjoys a word of prayer. And there's some farmers that go through really, really difficult times. Giving up a farm, giving up a way of life, moving to live in a village or a town, so alien to the lifestyle that they've normally had. And I've been welcomed onto farms with open arms, and it is working. It is working very well, and people do come to me and do share things with me. Not just older farmers. I've had young people, 25, 24 years old, something like that will share with me how they're feeling and some of the difficulties that they're going through. And it's getting the message out there to people that I'm here and the church is here to help and to support them. Last week, we had the BBC come up from London and they wanted to film. And so I think sometime in April, on the 6 and 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock news, which it is on BBC, there's going to be a short clip there of a young farmer up in this area who speaks openly about his mental health problems. And so it's highlighting it all the time because there is massive mental health issues on farms and isolation. And so I go along. And I work in partnership with these other organisations, and the RSABI, which the retiring collection is for this evening, is a wonderful organisation, and they can come along and help people. They won't help them in the business if there's problems in the business, but they help them if they've got problems in their own. For instance, I know of one farmer who was struggling to put oil in his tank to heat his house. He was behind on his mortgage. He was worried about losing the farm. And when you've no oil in your tank and winter's sort of halfway through, the RSABI came along and filled his oil tank for him. So that's just one example of how your generosity this evening will be used to support people who are struggling financially. So there are many variations of the We Plough the Fields and Scatter. It's originally a German hymn, Wir pflügen und wir streuen, we plough and sow. And it was translated into English in the 1800s. And so I hope you enjoy singing it. I love it, absolutely love it. And being born and bred on a farm, it means a lot to me to be able to sing this hymn. Thank you.